I've been looking for a house with no walls or no whispers, no hiding places, no secret sister. Been looking for a house that won't shelter a lie.
This is Empowering Women Everywhere, and I'm your host, Nan Gill. And today's guest is Dorian DeHann of Artisan Discovery Foundation. Dorian is a New York State licensed interior designer in Sugarloaf, New York, with 29 years experience. She holds degrees in interior design and architecture from Pratt Institute. She is a chairwoman of the New York State Board for Interior Design within the New York State Education Department. She has been involved in public service for over 20 years and added global charity in 2006. In 2012, she founded the Artisan Discovery Foundation after working with her daughter Fallon in some very poor regions in Peru. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. You want to tell me a little bit about how you came to form this foundation?
Sure. I went to Peru with my daughter in 2011. We were doing some charity work there. And what we found were some real inequities in the female population there. Mm-hmm. And we did work with some women's groups there, and we worked with some orphanages. And what we found was that women were, they didn't have the same educational possibilities as the boys had. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, what we found that the women were, because they weren't as educated, they were creating very large families that they had difficulty taking care of. And
where in Peru was this?
We were in, we started out in Cusco, right outside of Cusco. We worked with a women's community center there, the Huchiacha Community Center. Mm-hmm. And it's a center that was formed with local NGOs that built a not just a center for women.
What's an NGO?
Non-governmental organization.
Okay.
Okay. And what they did was these organizations helped to build this community center for the women, but they also needed a place for their children, so they built a small school for the children. So we worked with them there.
Okay.
We also worked with Peruvian Hearts, which was started by at the time, she was 12 years old when she started Peruvian Hearts. Which she started the Peruvian Hearts because she wanted to go back to where her roots were. She was brought to this country at a very young age, and she wanted to follow back her roots.
Was she adopted?
She was adopted, and she found that the region that she came from was very, very poor.
Right.
And she found that it was not just the communities, but the girls were very underserved. So through her work, she started a couple of orphanages there where the girls could, parents could bring their children to live, and they could also get an education. So within the last several years, she started a new project called Peruvian Promise, which we helped to start. And the Peruvian Promise is the promise of the girls to get through their high school education and to promise to do something beyond that, to pick a career. So we help them to start that program where, you know, once they make that promise, they are supported financially through that journey with their education. So, you know, we started the organization after we got back because what we found was the women there were trained to in weaving techniques from their ancestors. That was brought down through the ancestors, and they were making products that were not really saleable. And, you know, it's very, very difficult to get things sold in the markets down there anyway. They're so inundated with product. And so they, you know, when I saw the product that they were making,
Right.
as an interior designer, I could very easily see how we could help them to make a better product that would be more sellable, and that they could also sell at a fair market value.
And on the global market.
On the global market.
Right.
Yes. I mean, the idea is to at least start through this country first and then grow it to a global market.
Right.
And, you know, I would do that basically by taking whatever connections I have through the interior design world and getting it out there and say, look, we've got some really great products, you know, these are things that you can use for your clients and that kind of thing. So,
Right.
so
So
that's where we started.
once you started the foundation, you then went and you realized what kind of products they could make
Right, exactly.
that
So
would sell easily on the global market.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. So yeah, so you know that's where the Artisan Discovery was founded in order to help them, but with the goal in mind of helping them to gain a sustainable income for
Right.
themselves and their families.
And what is your role in the organization?
I am the CEO and the founder.
Okay.
My daughter was very instrumental in helping me to start the organization, since we did the work together, which was really, you know, it meant a lot to me because we were working with women and children and mothers and daughters. So,
Right.
you know, we started it together.
And it's a 501c3.
It is a 501c3. It took us about a year to do it because we did all the work ourselves. We didn't have the money to do it, so we did all the work ourselves.
Right. And you believed in it.
Yes, exactly.
So what is your role in the organization? What is your on the ground?
On the ground, well, from here, from the United States, what I do is I run our board of directors, which it's an advisory board that helps us determine the types of projects that would be good for us to work on and that will follow our mission.
Right.
So from that standpoint, you know, that's the administrative standpoint of it. From an artistic standpoint, I look at the artisans and I look at the resources that they have, and we try to use those resources to make or help them make new products to bring to the market that are different than everybody else has.
Right.
The markets are so inundated with the same product
Right.
that they not only is competition crazy, but you know, they wind up selling their products for way under a market value.
Right.
And you can't sustain a family that way.
And you have actually contacts in the design world that you can actually make brochures up and sell them on the global market?
Absolutely, yes. We started a for-profit Artisan Discovery to help channel those goods. We had to find a way to, once the goods are produced, we wanted to create a cycle.
Right.
So that we can get our artisans creating goods and that we can get them all sold.
Right.
And so we created a platform for them by which to sell them, creates their income, and that income goes back to them to make more products. So it's a sustainable cycle.
What are some of the struggles that you faced in forming and running a not-for-profit?
Well, I think one of the biggest struggles was money. You know, we had a lot of people very interested in our mission and helping us. And, you know, it was really great to see so many people that were so supportive, but there's only so much you can do without the financial aspect.
Right.
The other part of it, which is a big thing, is I do have a member of my board that does grant writing. And you know, a lot of the grants that are out there, there's so many grants out there through the research that we've done specifically for us and what we're doing, but a lot of these grants are not paid or even recognized until you do your first project.
Right.
So it's almost a catch-22. You have to do your first project, but you don't have money to do your first project. So we've been doing a lot of fundraising to get to the point where we can start our first project.
Okay. All right. And what are some of the benefits that you've found?
Oh gosh, many. There's, when you are working with communities that have nothing, you really don't have to give them much for it to be a lot. So you're changing somebody's life and really a whole family and community's lives, you know, when you can do those small little things. And those small little things eventually add up and they become big things, and that's what creates the sustainable community.
Well, when you think about it, a small little thing was that girl being adopted.
Yes.
And going to the United States and then wanting to come back and help the country that she had come from.
Absolutely.
And from that grew the daycare and the women working together in a cooperative.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And so we want to do the same things, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you have a trip that's planned on coming up soon. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the trip and what you're planning on doing?
Sure. This is going to be our first trip. It's taken us a couple years to raise the funds to do what we're doing. We're going back to the Huchiacha Community Center that we started at. The women, they have looms and they were doing some weavings. So, they, like I said, they weren't really making a saleable product. So I'm going to help them with that. We're also going to give them something new. We're going to teach them how to use a sewing machine. And we have a master quilter who is my sister, who is going to help them learn how to quilt. And it's going to be a product that everybody loves, that will be easy to sell, that they'll be able to make quickly, that they can use with, what we'd like to do is use old clothing. Okay. So we want them to find resources that don't cost them anything.
Right.
So if they can get old clothing and we can reuse the clothing to make the quilts, then it makes it easier for them to produce with not a lot of money.
Right.
So we're doing that, and then we're also going to the one of the orphanages in Urubamba, where the girls already know how to use sewing machines, but they really only use them to make sheets and clothing and things like that. So we're going to teach them how to quilt as well.
Okay.
So.
And you feel that quilts on the market are saleable?
Very saleable. We have to start small. So we're starting with one product right now.
Right.
So that, we don't lose ourselves. We want to be very focused on what we're doing so that we can make sure that we're producing a really good quality product that people will buy and, tell others about.
Okay, so you did the research in the market and you decided to start with quilts.
Right.
What is some of the other vision that you have for later on?
Well, since I'm an interior designer, we do want to work with items for the home.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be working with people who might make different types of furniture, or we're working with another group actually that an indigenous Quechuan group that makes table linens and tablecloths and runners and things like that. any kind of accessories, home accessories.
Right.
So those kinds of items, because they're the items that I know the most about, and they're ones that I can
Right.
sell easily to my peers.
Okay. What does it mean for you to be a woman that fights to empower women and girls?
Means a lot. I've been very, very fortunate in my life to have the education that I got from my father. My father gave me a fabulous education, and I have quite a number of friends that I grew up with that didn't have the same opportunity that I have or had, and I think there's something to be said for that. I also feel that, in going to these communities and talking to a lot of these women and girls, they're so motivated to do more, but they don't have the foundation to do it.
Right.
So we want to give them that foundation to help them have the same opportunities that I had and many of us have had in this country that we take for granted.
Right. Now, if somebody wants to become involved in your organization, what is your website so that they can get in touch with you?
The website is artisandiscovery.org.
Okay.
It's ARTISAN, discovery.org. And we're just going through some rebranding right now, so not all of the information is up there, but anybody is welcome to call me. I will speak with them directly.
Okay.
There's also an email address on there that they can reach me at. And there's also the artisandiscovery.com where they can actually see some of the products that artisans are making.
So the commercial organization actually feeds the not-for-profit.
Yes.
If somebody, what I remember, you said that people could go with you on this trip that's coming up soon?
That's correct. It's we've got a little bit of a short time frame now.
Right.
We're leaving.
But you'll have
August.
other ones coming
We
up.
are going to have other ones.
Right.
There's a good chance that we might be going back in the spring.
Okay.
And because this trip, not only are we working with the two groups, but
Right.
we are also doing some field research to see what the other needs are and how we can be most productive there.
Right. I remember
So-
I was to one of yours.
Yes.
You had a beautiful fundraiser in Sugarloaf,
Yes.
and
Well, you
had
should
some
come
great-
again this year.
great musicians.
Yeah.
When is your fundraiser this year?
It is the Sunday of Columbus Day weekend,
Okay.
which I believe is the 12th of October.
Okay.
Whatever that Sunday of Columbus Day weekend is. And it's the Fall Festival, too, in Sugarloaf.
Oh,
So-
right. They have that.
Right.
So it's a great festival in Sugarloaf. They have all kinds of artisans, and they have all kinds of music, and
Right.
it's a great festival to come up with in Sugarloaf, to come up and visit.
Yeah. And we've already got our music lined up for this year. Some great talent again, as every year.
Right.
We happen to be very fortunate to know a lot of very connected, talented musicians. So they come and they donate their time
Right.
to the organization, and it's a really good time.
And I remember you had some very good food there.
Yes. It's all handcrafted in my kitchen. So, none of that's made off site and then brought to the refrigerator or the freezer. It's all made on site by our chef. So
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about how the government organizations in Peru, say, or any of the countries that you're working in, how they respond to your efforts?
they are very positive.
Okay.
They really look for help in any way they can. Their means are very limited, so they do actually get funding from the United States for different types of projects. In fact, the United States does fund women's empowerment and girls' empowerment projects. So they're they really look for these non-governmental organizations to come in and do all kinds of things. So they are very supportive. And I did receive an email the other day from the mayor of Calca, which is one of the areas we're going to. And one of the women that I'm working with on the ground there, I do have a team on the ground there right now that I'm working with, but she confirmed to me this email that I got was from the mayor of Calca. And mayors here seem like, they're just small politically. Mayors there are very big politically.
Okay.
So to get an email from the mayor of Calca was a big deal.
Right.
He's interested in meeting me. He's interested in working with our organization and helping us any way he can to move throughout the vicinities that we're going through and work in the communities. We are looking to do some filming there, which they're very supportive of. And we've got somebody local that's going to be doing the filming. And we'll be going from, we'll actually be starting in a very small community where we're meeting a bread maker who makes all of his own bread in this big, it's a giant open oven. And you just see him making bread for the community there. And it's all open sky. It's nothing is covered. They don't have buildings to do things in like we do.
How's the weather there? Is it rainy or?
No, it's beautiful this time of year. It's really beautiful. Although you're in the Andes, so it gets cold at night. It can get down into the 30s at night. And a lot of them don't have roofs over their heads, so it's challenging for them. In the summer, during the day, it's very hot.
So in the houses, they don't have roofs?
A lot of them don't.
Wow.
A lot of them don't.
But it is a stable country, so
yes,
it's a country where you can work to bring the standard of living up.
You can. I think that they get that from a lot of outside help, though. The boys are educated in Peru. The girls are not.
They're not.
They're not afforded an education. So what happens is the mothers wind up giving their girls up to orphanages because the orphanages have schools. So they give their girls up to the orphanages, and that's where they live, and they are basically raised by nuns.
So by getting them industry, you're actually making it so that the mothers can support their children.
Yes.
And not have to give them up.
And fund their education.
And to fund their education.
Yes.
So
hopefully that will change over time. That I think through this empowerment process, there'll become a time when the girls are also educated. But until they get to that point, they need help to get there.
Now, when they go into the orphanage, are they educated or not?
Yes.
Oh, they are.
They are educated.
Yeah.
Yes. The one that we're working with, they are, they actually have they started at a grade school level, and then they added a high school level. And then when we were there, I mentioned the Peruvian Promise program, which is the college or trade, or the girls decide what it is they want to do. Yeah. Whether it's they could be a doctor or a lawyer, or they could be a crossing guard or a chef or a tour guide, or they can be whatever they want.
Right.
And so the orphanage helps them to get there.
Right.
And so my thought with helping them with the quilt project was that in selling these goods, it could help to fund that further education.
Right. Okay. All right. You said you're working with a team on the ground over there.
Yes.
You want to tell me a little bit about the team you're working with?
Sure. I'm working with the woman who runs the community center So I'm working with her directly. I'm working with another person who is she's actually a travel agent, but she does a lot of work. She and her mother and aunt do a lot of work for NGOs there. So she's been very supportive.
And an NGO again is?
A non-governmental organization.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was introduced to her by the woman who ran the trip that I went on from the Global Volunteer Network. It's based out of New Zealand. They did a lot of work together there, charity work. And so she introduced me to her, and so I'm doing a lot of work with her. She's been my eyes and ears and voice, really. We talk about struggles. My struggle is that there's a language barrier for me, and I know very little poquito Spanish. So
what about your daughter?
My daughter speaks Spanish.
Well, you bring her.
Well, she actually is a grad student at Boston College, getting her master's in social work.
Okay.
So she wants to work with teenage girls in that population, and she also wants to do international as well. So we will eventually come back together and work together.
Right.
But for now, she was in the military for a long time. So, and she was stationed in Colombia.
Right.
So she was a liaison between the U.S. and the Colombian Navy. She worked directly for the Colombian Navy admiral, so she had to learn Spanish to go there.
Oh, okay.
And so now she's taking half of her courses in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
So she will be very instrumental.
Right. But for now, you're on your own with your Spanish.
For now, I'm on my own.
So everybody, if you have a Spanish ability,
yes,
and you're
absolutely.
very fluent, that's one of the volunteers we need immediately.
That's right. And if you can teach me Spanish as a second language, it's a plus. So, yeah.
Okay.
And I am learning Spanish, but it's going to be a few years before I get to a point where I can really be on my own to communicate.
Yeah, without sign language.
Without sign language, that's correct. Yeah.
So, very good. So this is Empowering Women Everywhere. And today we've met with Dorian DeHann of Artisan Discovery Foundation. And we're very happy to have you on board. And thank you so much for coming.
And thank you very much for having me.